This is going wonderfully. Oh, but if you're sharing screen, it means I can, with the magic of Zoom Cinema, I can blur out my crack den background. Mwah. Okay, let me.
Oh, okay. No.
Boom. Oh. But now I have no ears.
Oh.
Where did my ears go? And
No
my thumb.
clue.
Okay, do you know
That
what?
is the problem with
Let's
okay.
just
There.
welcome to my crack den bedroom. Recently moved, and I haven't finished unpacking.
Yeah.
So
It's okay.
This is what we're dealing with.
There we go. There. That is the link. So you can do that on your phone.
Okay.
And we're going to be, yeah. Okay. I'm going to have my first sip of coffee now that we've got all of that settled.
Right. I'm going to mute
us. Yes, please do.
Yes, there we go. Because that way I can see.
Oh, and you just want to make sure that you have it. I guess they have 2 different versions of chat now. They have live chat and top chat. You want live chat so you get everybody's like
all messages.
Yeah.
There we go.
I know there's a big black thing on the screen, but whatever. Okay. We're here.
Yes, finally. Took us some time, but we managed it.
Yes.
And we've got our Dooley Boppers on.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you with a Dooley Bopper headband on. But to be fair, it's been ages since I've been in any form of sprints.
No, I've stopped wearing them.
Oh, okay. So it's not just the fact that my impending, no longer impending, but assumed past impending death stopped me from doing stuff, and I missed out on all the Dooley Boppers.
No.
You grew bored of your Dooley Boppers.
It wasn't boredom. I realized through several things over the past year that I was using them as a costume to hide, and I've gotten more comfortable with myself. So
good. I was gonna say you don't need it. You don't need a costume.
I am wearing them today because it is St. Patrick's Day in Guam.
Yeah, I was gonna say talking about the Paddy Day vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that mug. I know we've talked about this in the past, but I'm obsessed with that mug.
Yes, it's adorable.
It's gorgeous.
Got all the green, so nobody can pinch me.
Kids, can you hear us okay? There's no echoes or anything now. The suspense is killing us.
We're waiting. I can hear you fine. You sound wonderful.
Yay! Awesome. That's
Perfect.
Very cool. Okay, so we are here celebrating the soon-to-be launched Kickstarter of the beautiful Emmy. I'm just trying to... Which Instagram account are we on? I know it's yours, obviously.
We're on YouTube. We're on Ember May.
Ember May, perfect. Yeah. Of your gorgeous Kickstarter hands-on crowdfunding retreat for authors. So why don't we kick this off by you just telling us a little bit about your Kickstarter, what it is, and why you decided to do it. Mike, over to you. Please and thank you. Go ahead.
So this Kickstarter is for people. The heart of the Kickstarter is a retreat where instead of doing like a writing retreat, we will be doing 5 days of concentrated work on taking your book to a Kickstarter project that will be ready for launch by the end of those 5 days. And we're going to be doing this retreat in Edinburgh because I really want to go there. And so many people that I love are on that side of the world, so it just made it more convenient for me to go and visit some people. But yeah, no, this project was really like placed on my heart to do, and like I remember what it was like being that first time creator and all of the jargon that's around crowdfunding in general. And then Kickstarter has its own language, so like if you started at a different crowdfunding place, you may not have the same jargon. So like that was a lot. And then like trying to conceptualize how to put together basically a sales page for this campaign was a lot as well, because for fiction it's way different than nonfiction. Like doing this process has illuminated me 100% on how different they are, because I struggled to put this campaign together because it's my first nonfiction. But I've done 3 fiction, and I'm like, I can do that in my sleep now. Like I know how to format a fiction Kickstarter. But yeah, so learning how to do like a sales page and it's not a formula, but basically like I have a template now that I use for those types of things. So I'll be sharing that. And just basically walking people from beginning to end, or at least to launch. If this goes like wildly beyond my wildest imagination, and we can like hit the funding goal and keep going, there will also be like extra trainings and stuff that I'm going to be doing for fulfillment and deep dives into resources that you can use and stuff. But I had noticed that like a lot of resources for authors are by authors, so they wrote a book.
Yes.
And which is lovely, and it's been helpful, and their resources are amazing. But reading stuff and then actually trying to go do the thing is so difficult. And so I wanted to give people like visual medium to go and do those things.
Yeah, because it's a strange thing to say, because obviously it's on a screen where you're setting this up, but I think it's such a tactile thing. This is a long chunk of time ago now, but I did a crowdfunding project on GoFundMe for like a little short film that I did, and it is such a tactile experience, and it is like a living, breathing thing that seems to change every day, and you're trying to keep up with it. And of course, the beauty of a book is that you've got all the information there, and you can go back to it at any time, and the information is solid and it doesn't change, which is great for something that is, you know, more glacial in its kind of evolution than something like Kickstarter, for example. But when you're dealing with something like that, which does change and move so quickly, I think there's a lot of downfalls then for a book. And so I love this idea of, you know, taking what you know and actually presenting it in a way that is a lot more tactile to meet the needs of the authors and the platform. And speaking of platforms, is this project Kickstarter kind of dependent? So is this specifically about, because obviously it's crowdfunding, but is it specifically about Kickstarter, or are you including kind of other platforms? Because I know each platform has its own vibe, like social media does.
Yeah, it is specifically Kickstarter. I just didn't label it Kickstarter because I'm not affiliated with Kickstarter, so we'll get that out of the way. This is not an affiliated project with Kickstarter. They didn't pay me to do this, nothing of the sort. But because I've done Kickstarter 3 times, this is my 4th Kickstarter, like I know the platform pretty well. So I decided to do it specifically that because that's what I know. I think a lot of the concepts that are being taught would still work in other areas. It's just you would then have to figure out like what they're calling it or where it would be in the dashboard for them, that kind of thing. Because I seriously walk you through like, here's the reward section. These are the 3 things that you have to set up in the reward section, that kind of stuff. So it is very Kickstarter dependent in that sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that it makes a lot of sense because Kickstarter, I think, is probably the best known crowdfunding site.
Yeah.
Specifically for creatives as well. So, like I say, when eons ago, just maybe a year or 2 after the dinosaurs had peaced out, when I did my crowdfunding project, I went on GoFundMe, and I remember I went on that because with GoFundMe, I don't know if it's the same now. Again, this was a long time ago. You didn't have to reach the goal, the financial goal, to receive, the money. And because I was just doing like a short kind of tiny film, that was appealing to me. But what I found was that GoFundMe very much is, it has the vibe of, it's more like when you're at school and you get sponsors, for like a charity thing. So GoFundMe, I think, very much is for, people raising money for specific life things.
Yes.
Where, like, if you think of raising money, crowdfunding for a creative project, it's Kickstarter. So it makes a lot of sense, I think. I think anyone that knows about crowdfunding, which at this point is most of the population, unless, you're under a rock or you're not a fan of the webs, I think people would agree. So I think that makes sense.
Well, and I did my first like toe dip into crowdfunding in general was GoFundMe. For my mom, she needed a surgery and we had to go to the Philippines to do it. And so I put together this stuff for GoFundMe. And the difference, a core difference between GoFundMe and Kickstarter is on GoFundMe, it is charity. That is, they're not expecting anything in return. They are donating to you and whatever you're asking for. On Kickstarter, it is basically a pre-order. Like you are, as a creator, you are responsible for, if you fund, this is the thing, it's an all or nothing platform, unlike GoFundMe. So you have to hit the financial goal to receive the money. Nobody is charged until you've hit that goal and your campaign date ends. So there's little risk for the people backing if you do not fund. However, if you do fund, that is where the risk comes in. There are disclaimers all over Kickstarter saying you are taking a risk on this creator. You may not get the things that you're getting. But as a creator, you have a responsibility to create the thing that you've said you're going to bring to life. And so you are providing things to those backers. This is not a donation. This is a pre-order. And
I think, it's a really good exercise in creative responsibility. You're holding yourself accountable because people will want the thing. It's you don't place an order online and then maybe you get it. I think that's another great thing about crowdfunding in general, is just that it holds your feet to the fire. It gives you a deadline, and especially if you're kind of new to the professional side of creating, maybe you've been writing your whole life, and you finally kind of no, I'm going to do it. It's so easy to back down from your own deadline, but when you've raised that money and people are waiting on you, you've got to deliver. So a question I have is, what first attracted you to Kickstarter as an author, as a creative? What was it about Kickstarter that you were interested in?
So I love live events. I love events in general. I love planning events. I love being able to create things specifically for people. So when I started seeing people on Kickstarter doing special editions, and that Book Vault was going to be doing a print on demand special editions thing, I was 110% on board. So the very first Kickstarter that I wanted to do was I wanted to get these books into paperback, but I didn't just want a paperback. I wanted foil. So I have foiling on my paperbacks because that's what I wanted.
Look how shiny it is.
And so that is the whole reason I did it is I was ready to move on. So I had a 10-book series. I was ready to move on from that, but I wanted to give a good push for the books because social media advertising, any sort of like advertising and promotion, I'm not all that great with. Like, I am not consistent. I don't like it. I don't like being on platforms like that. Like, it's just not a thing that I'm attracted to. In-person events, I love doing. Doing any sort of creative online event, I like doing. Have I had success with them? Not really. But like, I prefer doing those over the rigmarole of doing like Instagram and Facebook, and I've never been on TikTok. Well, actually, no, I did try. And I was like, it's way too much of my brain energy. I need to be writing books. So I got off fairly quickly. I think I've done like 3 videos and that was it. And they were like slideshow. And so Kickstarter appealed to me because you have an audience, or they have an audience that they're bringing to you. So you bring your audience and then they will send it to other people and you'll get their audience. And sometimes it works in your favor and sometimes it seems like you're bringing more people to Kickstarter than they're bringing to you. In my experience, Kickstarter is most, if not all, of my audience. I don't bring very many people to the platform, but they have supported me somehow. I don't know what I'm doing that's making it happen, but I kind of think that
are attracted like a moth to the flame.
No.
Of your, like, radiant soul and dealy boppers. The second you log in, the vibrations that are sent out into the universe, they're shining like that foiling on the book. They're just, in my humble opinion, that's what's happening.
Okay. So the second launch I did an in-person event to launch the Kickstarter. Kind of like how we're doing this to launch the Kickstarter, but I did it in person at a coffee shop with people here on island. And I've done that for the last 2 campaigns, and I have incentivized people to back while we were there. With these
the way you said that sounded like there was someone behind them threatening them to sleep with the fishes if they did. I incentivized them.
No, but I gave them little goodie bags if they backed. So they would get like a teacup set with coffee and tea and cookies. And then for the holiday rom-com one, they got a little tin with hot chocolate and a pen kit because I love these things. So we got Christmas ones. I don't know where my Christmas one is. There. So you could make
I love that.
This, and you could take like the pen base and you chose your beads and you put it on top because it just turned. So we did that, and those were in the goodie bags as well. And then there was like peppermints and I think that was it. But I just gave them little goodie bags to help. And so it seemed like that got the algorithm going, because how I know the Kickstarter algorithm works, and it's probably more complex than this, but attention gets attention. So the more attention that you're bringing to your Kickstarter, the more attention that Kickstarter is going to send to you. And so, like, the other thing is, on updates, you want to encourage engagement on those updates. You want likes, you want comments. Because the more engagement that you're getting, you are able to then get more people coming to your Kickstarter.
It begets itself.
Yep. So, yeah, I think the in-person events is part of how I've managed to get attention on Kickstarter, because I do not have people responding to my updates.
Well, and I think, you know, that's an awesome thing, that essentially you're customizing the experience that you're having on the platform to who you are and what works for you.
Yes.
Whereas, you know, you don't necessarily get that with other platforms, social media, that kind of thing. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I love this idea of like the little goodie bags. Like, that's so cute. And especially, you know, because the 10 book series it was cozy. And what's more cozy than, like, you know, the vibes of like having a little goodie bag, making your own pens, little peppermints, like, oh God, I love that. That's adorable. That's made me very happy. I was about to ask you whereabouts you were wanting to take the retreat. You've already said this, Edinburgh.
Yes, we will be in Edinburgh.
So apart from the fact that I live on, not in Edinburgh, but, you know, I live a lot closer to Edinburgh than I do to Guam. I'm on the same island. So apart from the fact that, you know, I clearly drew you over here, what is it about Edinburgh that you think is a wonderful place to spark the creativity of people to engage in their own kind of making of a Kickstarter?
So it was... Okay, y'all, I'm about to get weird. But I feel like I'm supposed to, so we're gonna do it. Okay, so weird. I am a very faith-based person, and I consider myself a spirit-led author. So what drew me to Kickstarter was God said, you're gonna do a Kickstarter, and I said, okay, let's do it. And so same thing. This campaign, I can't tell you how much of this was out of my control. I could have run away from it. There is that. But I didn't, because after I had launched my last campaign, I had, I believe, 5 options rolling around in my head for what my next campaign is, because I'm addicted to Kickstarter. And so I wrote them all down on a piece of paper, and I was like, Lord, you tell me what my next project is. You tell me where I'm going to be what I'm going to be doing. And so I did, and the Kickstarter Retreat was one of them, because that was one of the ideas that was rolling around in my brain. And I did not pick it myself. I said, Lord, whatever my Tata picks, that's my bonus dad. Whatever my Tata picks, that is...
Bonus dad. Side note very quickly. Bonus dad is the best term I've ever heard.
I don't like stepdad or stepmom, so I call both of them my bonus parents. And yeah.
I don't have a normal dad, let alone a bonus dad. Amazing. Anyway, apologies for derailing that. Please continue.
And so I was like, Tata, you have to pick one of these. And he's like, why all this pressure? I'm like, there's no pressure. You just pick it. God's already got it in his hands. And he picked the Kickstarter Retreat. And I was like, okay, but I already knew that this Kickstarter Retreat was going to be overseas. Like, it was going to be in the UK, it was going to be in the UK. somewhere in there. It was either going to be London or nearby London, or it was going to be in Edinburgh. And yeah, so I prayed about it, and it was supposed to be in Edinburgh, and I was like, okay.
It is a beautiful city.
But yeah, the history and the amount of like, there's a writer's museum there, which I found out after I had made this decision to go, and I was like, well, that's perfect. We're going there. And then also I found out that there's a place where you can make your own bags. So we're going to be doing that as part of the retreat, which I am so excited about.
Yeah,
I am so excited about. So yeah, that is the weirdness behind this. It's very good.
I don't think that's weirdness. I think, you know, there are so many people that consider themselves spiritual people, and they talk very candidly and very openly about, you know, the stars guiding their lives and crystals and all this kind of thing, and that seems to have become just quite normal, quite accepted. So why then is someone's faith to be considered any less, you know, relevant to them than a crystal is to somebody else?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I adore about you is your faith. I personally, and we've had many conversations about this, I'm not a religious person. I'm not someone that has a faith. But I have such love and warmth for people that have genuine faith. You know, religion is a thorny subject for a lot of people, and organized religion is not my jam whatsoever. But there's a huge difference between religion and faith, because, you know, religion obviously is the organization, manipulation and control, and I don't mean that in a negative or a positive way, of, you know, the followers of that faith.
Yeah.
Whereas faith is a very personal thing.
Yeah.
And I think there's such beauty in faith. And so say it with your whole chest, my friend. Like, absolutely. I love that. So I want to get real with you. How much work is a Kickstarter? Because, like, you know, the fact that you are having, you know, this idea of a retreat, and it's 5 days to go kind of, you know, from 0 to 60, essentially, that tells me that there's some work to be done.
Yes.
So let's get real. How challenging is creating a Kickstarter?
When you're going in blind, it is hard. It's hard even afterwards. Like, that Kickstarter is a lot of work. Crowdfunding, if you're doing it well, that is the key. If you're going to do anything, do it well. And doing it well is a lot of work. I can't tell you the number of times that I have I completely redo all of the graphics. Every time. I have one scheme going, and then I'll be playing around with it because it's still not right. And then I go, oh, there it is. And I have to redo all of the imagery in the whole campaign because I've now changed the color scheme. Yeah. And so that is a lot of work. But it's also, I feel like it's really worth it. Like, I have, and fulfillment is a pain in the butt. I will be encouraging people to start small because I did not.
Does not surprise me.
Yeah. Well, I thought I was being smart. You know, I thought I was being like very limiting, but I gave people too many options.
Oh, yeah.
So for my first campaign, it was the first 5 books in the series. I had options for ebook and paperback and special edition paperback. So, and I also had options for book 1 through 3, book 1 through 5. So if you multiply 3 times 3,
Yeah.
that's 9 reward tiers right there.
And then you get people specifically just wanting this one thing of it. So then you have like 100 single items as opposed to sending out 100 of one thing, which is that sounds like a migraine.
So then my second campaign had the full set of books. So it was 1 through 10, focused on 5 through 5 or 6 through 10. But I still had the 1 through 3, 1 through 5, 6 through. I don't even remember how I broke it down anymore, but basically I went from 3 options that way to 6 options, and then like 6 options, or still 3. So I basically had like the full alphabet of reward tiers available for people. And then fulfilling that was such a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Because you have to make sure that you get people the right number of books. And some people would like go into the add-on, so they would get like 1 through 3, and then they would get book 4. And I'm like, you couldn't just get 1 through 5 and save yourself the trouble? And no, we have to like
yeah.
It was a lot. And so like, and I keep fighting myself going, well, we could do this, we could do that when I start a campaign, and you should let yourself do that. You should let yourself have all of the ideas and all of the shiny objects, but then pare it down to 5 to 8 reward tiers. I have made the decision that everything going forward will be done. And so like when I did the holiday rom-coms, you could only get the trilogy. You got the trilogy in ebook, you got the trilogy in paperback, you got the trilogy in hardback. You could get, well, the special edition hardback.
Not one of each.
No. And then I did have them in the add-ons.
No more pick and mix.
I did have them in the add-ons that you could get the ebooks and the paperbacks. I don't think I had the special edition hardbacks in the add-ons. But yeah, so like going forward, it's like the next cozy series I'm writing is a 5-book series. It will be, you get 5 books.
Yeah.
I'm not separating them out.
But I just want book 3 for no real reason.
No, not doing it. It was so hard. So yeah, like there's little things like that where you don't necessarily think about it. Being complicated.
That's real lived in experience.
Yeah, like I did not expect it to be complicated, and then I did it, and I was like, I had a reward map so people could understand what the reward packages were, because there were so many.
Look, I think it's fair to say if you need a GPS
to
figure out your rewards, that maybe some simplification is in order.
It was awful. But I was still.
You made a mistake, so others don't have to.
Yes.
The whole point of it is that you can share this knowledge and help people.
Yeah, and I was learning that my audience is not me.
Yeah.
Because I watched at that in-person event, I watched several people hit the pay for the whole paperback series at like $130. Which the thought of that gives me hives. Quite frankly.
Worth that. And your work is worth that.
So that part of it is really hard for me, even still, to acknowledge. But I have learned that Kickstarter people are more likely to back a project if there's like more added value to a thing.
Well, they know why they're there.
Yeah. So it was learning that, because I had been on the Amazon retailer go as low as you can roller coaster for so long that I was just like keeping my prices too low for a lot of things. So when I did the rom-coms. I actually had Anthea Sharp, who is phenomenal person. She's amazing. She runs the Kickstarter for Author Facebook groups, but she also offers pre-flight checks on your project. So she'll go in and she'll give you feedback on your page for everything that she can see. And it was so helpful because one of the things, she gave me like 3 pages of notes, but one of the things that she had mentioned was that contemporary rom-coms don't do as well on Kickstarter. So going into it with that perspective of this probably is not going to blow up the way a romantasy is going to blow up was so helpful for me. Because I mean, like at that point I had just barely missed 1,000 on my second campaign, and I was like super pleased with that campaign. So on my third campaign I was like $3,900, which was immense. It was amazing for me personally. Kickstarter has changed my career by so much. And so I was like super duper pleased with that amount, especially since I wasn't expecting it to actually get up there after that comment. So like mitigating those expectations was also really, really helpful. But I truly believe that Kickstarter is a place where you can change your career here, and you could even start in the black as a debut author here if you know what you're doing.
And so, I mean, off the back of that, which is a very kind of exciting prospect, when does your campaign go live?
Actually, we're gonna launch it here in a minute.
This is very exciting. I'm very excited for you.
Thanks.
I've known Emmy. Gosh, what is it? How many years is it now?
It's been too many. I joined Activated Authors in November of 2021.
Jesus, so we're like coming up to our 5-year anniversary. Oh.
Yep.
So just very quickly, what I would like to say is that there are a few different types of people, and especially creative people. And as someone that has put my toe into a lot of different creative pools, I've met a fair share of all these different types of people. You have people that very much enjoy telling people what they do, but don't necessarily enjoy doing the thing that they're telling people. You have people that, you know, will talk to you very openly and candidly about it, and you know, they'll be doing bits and pieces. And then you have the person that just seems like the kindest, sweetest person, and I call them the quietly confident people, because they're open, they're warm, they'll share their knowledge with you, and you know, their love, and it's very clear that they love the job, the vocation that they're doing. And not only that, they're also just quietly in the background, like a steam train powerhouse, just putting in the work, doing that. And that is Emmy. I mean, I remember, you know, when you first came into Activated Authors, and we were doing the sprints and the boot camps and all of that kind of stuff. And it was essentially like, it felt like every week you were like finished the next draft. And then like 3 months in, you're like launching book 5. So what I will say is that, you know, Emmy is somebody that if she tells you she's going to help you, she's going to help you. If she knows what you need, she will be there. And I can't think of anybody that I would rather like take me on this kind of educational journey, because you are someone that talks the talk, walks the walk. You are the kindest, sweetest person, and I'm so excited for this campaign for you. I love the fact that this is kind of your debut non-fiction, and I love that you've chosen this, you know, because like you say, Kickstarter has changed your career, and not only that, it's changed, I think it's changed how you see yourself as well. Like, that you've always had a beautiful light inside of you, but it's shining brighter and brighter, and I think it has a huge part to do with you finding Kickstarter and you seeing that, oh, okay, I have all of this worth, and this is a beautiful place that I can show that. And like I say, people come to Kickstarter because they want to support creatives, because they want to be, you know, included in this. And, you know, that's a rare thing in a platform, because usually, like on Instagram, for example, people are here for all sorts of different reasons, and same on YouTube. But Kickstarter is a place where people go, I love art in all of its different varieties. And I'm here because I want to support that. I want to get involved in that. And you found a home there. And I love the fact that you're sharing that with people, and you're going to show people, you know, like the step-by-step process of this is how we get it done. Yeah. Because so often people, you know, give you like 3 steps, which are kind of helpful, but miss out so much. And around each one of those steps is like a 2-year speech of stuff that like could have been said in a sentence. Yeah. And I think that this is an incredible project, and people should be excited and like support you, because why wouldn't you want to be taught by Emmy? She's got dealy boppers on, for God's sake. It is so you're saying it's St. Patrick's Day in one. I would just like to say that kids hard agree. Yeah. Hard agree.
Thank you.
We love them very, very much.
Thank you. I love you guys also. Okay, now we're going to do the scariest thing after, you know, not knowing how to bring you in on YouTube. And we're going to launch the...
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Hey, it's a learning experience.
This is true.
That's exactly why we need people to give us step-by-step instructions on things.
Okay.
You got down. We just need to learn how to do YouTube Live.
Right.
Hey, you got it up and running in your own way. I love that.
I did. Okay. It's taking long. I think I hit preview. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Project overview. I can't apparently share 2 screens at once, so I am just going to leave you here.
Me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Stop share. You're gone.
I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. Sharing the screen. Ooh, goodness. Here we go. I'm ready to launch. This is the scariest thing ever. Launch projects. Drum roll. And congratulations, your project is live.
Yeah.
Whew. Oh my gosh.
I'm so proud of you.
I am so scared right now. I am not going to lie about that. I am so...
Yes. Everything, I mean, I was supposed to say everything good is on the other side of fear, but there are also some bad things. But the good fear, the fear, the pushing ourselves fear, everything good is on the other side of that. I'm so fucking proud of you.
Thanks. Whew. Okay. Well, I think that kind of is going to conclude today's live stream now that we've hit the launch. So thank you so much for coming on here and being my foil, because I'm sure you've made me look way better than I would have if I was here by myself talking to a camera.
No. We're going to stop that. We're going to rewind that. Absolutely not. It's just, it's easier to have a conversation when there's someone to have a conversation with.
True.
That's the key there. nothing to do with your beautiful self.
Well, thank you for coming. And thank you, kids, for coming to support and blowing up the chat with their support. Okay. Yes, Sam was the perfect host. All right. Thank you very much. And we will, I guess, see you in the replay if you watch this later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. I'm so proud of you.